Happy Saturday, Beak Squad family. We are nearing the month of August. I have a bunch of tips today for beekeeping in August and a bunch of tools that you need for the month of August. It's going to be a good video for you to make sure you have all your T's crossed and all your I's dotted for the month of August, because, you know, beekeeping is kind of winding down and we're getting late in the game to try to make everything right in the hive. You got to get hustling now. Hey everybody, David Burns, good to be with you today, and I'm going to have a fun day with you guys. Got a lot to talk about. How are you doing today? Hope you're having a good Saturday. And gosh, you know, we have had some hot weather here in Illinois. I went biking yesterday on my gravel bike, 15 miles, and it was 110 heat index Fahrenheit. Sorry, don't know what that is Celsius. I'm from America. But it was so hot that when I got done, I went in the house, I stood in front of the air conditioner, and then I put a fan on my face, and I just felt like I was overheating. It was tough. It's hot. It's hot on bees too. It's hot on beekeeping. It's hot on you if you're out there working bees as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about what to do with bees in the hot month of August. And no matter if there's a heat wave or not, dog days of August. So you may have to adjust this video if you're watching on another part of the world where it's not hot where you're at. Maybe it's winter, but anyway, this video will apply for when it does get hot wherever you live. Now, as we get into today's video, let me put out a red alert warning for winter bee kinds going on sale August the 1st. That's coming up in just a few days, guys. I know a lot of you are saying it says it's sold out. That's because it is until August the 1st. No inventory is going to be there until we turn it on August the 1st, 2023. And that's when the winter bee kinds go on sale for a December shipment. So you pre-order these and then we ship them out once the weather gets cooler, colder in the month of December. So be watching for that. Here's the link down here, honeybeesonline.com. Get ready to order your winter bee kinds. They do sell out fast. And so let me just tell you real quickly, you can put these on your hive at any temperature. Yeah, you can open your hive up in cold weather if you're just doing it for less than a minute to change these out. I've done it for well over a couple of decades. And so my hives are so flourishing in the wintertime. Most bee hives take probably 3 or 4 of these here in central Illinois to make it through the winter. There's about 4 pounds of sugar in each one of these, or the ingredients of sugar and the other components that keep bees healthy, about 4 pounds. So my bees will eat about 4 of these, which is going to be about 16 pounds that will help them make it through the winter. So if you have other questions, it's answered in the description of the winter bee kind, but just be aware, August the 1st is a go date. So we're going to talk about some tips and some tools that you need to be using in the month of August. And I'm going to first start with this one. Now, this is a Ceracell mite test kit. And this is really important to have. You want to test for mites. Somebody always asks me on my YouTube comments, they always say, why do I have to test? How come I just can't treat? What's the purpose of testing? I just treat them and I don't have to test. Well, I understand your reasoning. It sort of makes sense, but here's why I don't really practice that. Because if you don't take a mite test, sometimes you can use a treatment to knock mites down and the treatment failed. It didn't work. Either the treatment was expired or it wasn't mixed right or something, or the conditions of your hive or the temperature or something wasn't right, wasn't really what it needed to be to knock your mites down. So here's what you do. The reason why you like to test for mites is we test, and you use these little kits like this to do an alcohol wash. And you scoop up, you know, I made a lot of videos on this, by the way. You scoop up 300 bees, you put them in a basket, you put them in alcohol, and then you shake it up, hold it up, count your mites, right? And then, so the reason you want to do that, once you see you have a high mite load, what you want to do next is treat, and you use the treatment of your choice. Don't ask me what I use. It's up to you and where you live and what the temperatures are and your personal preference, what you're willing to pay. But once you do treat for mites, you need to wait about a week or two, 10 to 14 days, go back after the treatment, retest for mites again. And what you're doing by retesting, you're saying, you know, maybe you had 20 mites, you treat, you go back 2 weeks after your treatment, you test again, and you see 1 mite. Then you know your treatment works. But if you had 20 mites, you treated, 14 days later you go back, you look, you got 40 mites, uh-oh, you need to do something. So that's why we don't just treat without testing, treating, and then retesting. So this is an important tip and a tool that you need in the month of August, because August is a month that your mites are really going to expand. Really going to be tough. Now here's another thing that it might be a little early to use this in the month of August. Depends on where you live. But this is actually, goes on the entrance. It's a mouse guard. And mice love to run into your hive in the fall before winter hits, because they can get warm and cozy inside your hive. So this might be something more where you live that's going to occur in September, October, usually around when you get your first freeze, your first frost. That's when the mice start looking for a new home. So keep this in mind. You may want to get this, if you don't have one, you may want to purchase one, because supposedly bees can go in and out, but that little hole there is too small for a mouse to go through. I don't know. Now this is something you need in the month of August, and this is a robber screen. I've got links to all of these things in the description below. But this robber screen is so important because bees can really start to be robbed out in the month of August when you go through a dearth. Bees start looking for colonies that have a lot of honey on board they can rob. And so in this case, what you want to do is tack this on the front of your hive, people. Let's do it. Come on, don't get robbed out. You'll cry. And you tack it on. Robbers try to get in here where there's kind of a screen plastic mesh. They can smell the hive. They don't figure out very easily that they need to go in and out way up here, about 3 inches away. And your bees do. Your bees go in and out of these top things. Put them on at night. Open a door on one side. You can use these thumbtacks to tack it on the front. I think we do sell these, but wherever you get them, get a robber screen now. Oh my gosh. If you don't have one of these, you're going to cry when your hive starts to be robbed out. It's not just a few hives going in the front. Massive amounts of bees from another colony fighting and killing. They can destroy your hive, and they're just all over your hive. So get that robber screen checked out and be sure and get one. Oh, and by the way, here's another type of mouse guard adjustable. You know, you can buy these on Amazon, different places. This might be made for an 8 frame, or you can stretch it out for a 10 frame. So whatever your entrance size is, you can reduce that down to keep the mice out, but the bees can still go in and out. Now, here's another thing that you need. This is an interesting thing that a lot of people may not any longer know much about. Do you recognize what this is? Leave a comment below if you know what this is. Do you know what this is? Leave a comment below if you know what this is. I used to live by these. I used to have hundreds of these laying around the property. Do you know what that is? It's a Porter bee escape. And in the old days, what we used to do is we would put this in the oval-shaped hole of our inner covers, and then we would put our honey super on top of it. And so what would happen is all the bees in the honey super would go through the little hole. They would wiggle their way through the little metal pieces here that close. They open when they pass, but they close behind them. So all the bees in your honey super would go out, and they couldn't get back in. And then you could just go back in a week, and your honey super would be free of bees for you to harvest. Now, I stopped using these once small hive beetle came into the country, because what happens is if you do have a small hive beetle problem and you put this on and all your bees leave the top super, beetles go right up there. And those frames are no longer protected by bees, and beetles can have a heyday. So not my favorite thing to use anymore, but this is called a Porter, Mr. Porter, a Porter bee escape. And if you're harvesting with this, that's something you need for the month of August if you don't have one. By the way, here's a miniature version of a inner cover. And so that little hole there, the oval-shaped hole, this would fit. If this was microscopic, it would just fit in the oval-shaped hole. Then you would put it on your hive. Then you would put your super on top like this. Then you would put your top cover on, and your deeps would be below it. And so all the bees would go out through the oval-shaped hole, and then you could go back and harvest all your honey. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Now we have a lot more tools and tricks, guys, so don't go anywhere. I want to encourage you to please subscribe to my channel. It means so much to me. Love you guys so much being part of the Beak Squad family. So please subscribe, click on the bell, give me a thumbs up. Now look at this. This is a queen cage, as is this, as is this. These are the three most common queen cages that we use today. California mini cage, Benton 3-hole cage, and then we have the JSB's plastic queen cage. These are the three that when you buy a new queen or you get a package or a nuke, no, not a nuke, it shouldn't be a queen in a cage and a nucleus, but let's say that it's a package. It's going to be in one of these cages. And so the one that we use the most is the plastic JSB's cage. So the reason why this is important in the month of August is because I've made some videos for you guys showing how you can cage your queen. The most recent video that I made was using this, a push-in queen cage. So you don't have to pick her up. You can just push this, find where she's walking around, push this into the comb around her. You can confine her for a week. Now what we're doing is breaking the queen's brood cycle, which breaks the mite's brood cycle in the month of August when mites really escalate just crazy. So by limiting the amount that your queen can lay, you're limiting the amount of brood that mites can repopulate on. So in this case, we are really cutting down on the reproduction of mites in the month of August. So I like to use this July, August, September, or August, September, October, and where I live, and it confines the queen. So confine her for a week, then let her out, and it does cut down on mites tremendously. That's a really good tool. They come in different sizes and shapes like this one too, if you want to use that. Now this one, it confines the queen where the workers cannot get to her. I prefer this one where workers can go through the queen excluder material here and they can still get in there and take care of her, clean her, feed her. They'll still feed her through these, but I like this where the workers can get a little closer to her. Now, if you don't want to do that, this is a great tool to use too. One of these queen cages that I talked about. Put the queen in here. I've showed you a lot of videos on how to pick up your queen. Now, a lot of you don't know where my videos are. You're watching this one, you think this is the only video I've ever made. I've made over 520 beekeeping videos on every subject imaginable. Twice. So I've got a ton of videos. Go to my YouTube channel, click on the image of me and Sherry, and then go up and start searching for all the videos. But I've made some videos how you pick up your queen, put her in here, close the hatch door, confine her in here. And then what you can do once you have your queen confined is the same as using this one. You can confine your queen inside of here for a week and hang it from a hook or something, put it between two frames. They'll feed her through the cage here, and that way you're reducing your mite load. And that way in a week, you can open the little hatch door and then let her walk back out again. These are essential tools for the month of August for controlling mites. Sometimes all of the things that we do, all the treatments that we use, we need to use a lot of different and multiple approaches. A treatment plus some mechanical methods to reduce mites. All of these things go hand in hand. Don't rely on one thing to get rid of your mites. Okay, so I've got a couple of more things I want to show you for the month of August. And a lot of you asked me about this. Made a lot of videos, but again, some of you just drop in here for the first time and welcome, but you don't realize I've made videos about this before. Best smoker fuel that I have ever found over the course of my millions of years keeping bees is burlap. Now this is food grade burlap that I buy, and I'll leave a link in the description below where you can get this, and I buy a lot of it. I go through quite a bit of it. And you can see here, this is food grade quality. It comes in a gigantic sheet, and I take the scissors and cut it. I cut it into little sections that fit. When I roll it up, it fits into my smoker. And I prepare these in advance because what I do, I take some shipping paper like this, and I take the shipping paper. I know this is going to be noisy. I take the shipping paper because this is my starter. This is what I use to start the fire. And I take my burlap and I make little rolls of burlap in around the starter paper. And so I just walk into the shop and I grab these that are already rolled up, burlap rolled around the starter paper. And I just walk out and I unroll them, I catch this on fire. You've seen me do it. Put this in my smoker, let this get burning really good at the bottom, and then I slowly introduce the tightly rolled up burlap into my smoker. Gosh, that works so good. So have those rolled up and ready to go ahead of time. On a rainy day, you can go get some of this smoker fuel prepared for you and have it ready when you need it. That way, on the day when you're finally wanting to make your inspection, you're not having to go out there and figure out, what you're going to use for smoker fuel. Now, the last thing I want to share with you guys about August tips, you want to check for mites, do the mite test, right? You want to do some preventative maintenance against mites expanding in August by trapping the queen or caging the queen, breaking her brood cycle, which breaks the mite's brood cycle because mites develop in the cap cells of the pupae. They reproduce there. So the more you reduce the mites, the bee's brood, you're going to also reduce the mite's brood. Don't do that on a weak colony that you need brood, but on a strong colony, you can sacrifice a week's worth of brood, give the queen a rest, and she'll come back and lay really well when she's done. So we were talking about some of these tips. Now, one of the things, and by the way, why I chose to talk about the smoker fuel is because in the month of August, you need a lot of smoke. You need a lot of smoke, people. Oh my gosh, bees are so defensive. When it gets hot, when they have a lot of honey to protect, you need a lot of burlap. You need a lot of smoke. Get that smoker going really good. That's so important. And then the final thing I want to talk to you about is you need to take care of yourself. I had a friend that had a heat stroke in the apiary. All right, don't do that. I think I almost had a heat stroke on my bike yesterday, but don't do that. So look, here's what I drink when I'm out in the field. I enjoy Body Armor. I'm not sponsored by Body Armor. This is not a paid promotion. No, it's not. I'm just telling you what I use. One beggar telling another beggar where the food is. I found it. Maybe you'll like it too, right? That's all this is. So I kind of got onto these Propel water that has electrolytes in it. Love this. Zero sugar. So if you're trying to stay away from that, that's good. Sometimes I do need sugar, carbohydrates. If you're really exerting a lot of energy, you need a lot of energy, you can get a Body Armor, but you can get these light without so much sugar. But these are full of all kind of vitamins, minerals, so on, are just plain old water. But you gotta stay hydrated, and you're gonna get too involved in your bee inspection out there, and you're gonna forget to drink. And that's gonna be bad. It was 90 plus, 95, 98 degrees yesterday with a heat index of 110 Fahrenheit. And so you can imagine too much time under the hood of a mask with a heavy canvas bee suit on, you're gonna pass out. So don't do that. Stay very hydrated. That's gonna be a lot of fun if you take care of yourself during this inspection in the month of August. Now, in the month of August, you're gonna be taking off supers probably, and you're gonna be out there working pretty hard. So please stay hydrated. That's so important. Now, some of you know about my upcoming trip to Eastern Apicultural Society. I've been going to EAS since 2009. I'm going to take Bobblehead David with me. So Bobblehead David, he's going to be featured in a lot of videos. He might even do some interviews with some very popular scientists in beekeeping. He might go out to eat with us. He's going to be on the airplane with us. So be watching for upcoming videos of Bobblehead David flying out to Amherst, Massachusetts for the EAS conference. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to be leaving in the morning, catching an early flight out, meeting up with a lot of my beekeeping friends, my master beekeeping buddies in Amherst, Massachusetts. And again, if you're going to be there at this big conference, it's been going on for almost 70 years. So this is a place where all the scientists come from around the world. They tell us about their experiments, what new findings. This is a place where people that are inventing things and creating new items to use in the hive, they present them there. Big vendors telling us all about new products that really are doing marvelous things in the hive. This is where people come and share talks. Popular beekeepers, Dr. Cameron Jack, Bob Beanie, myself. I mean, just think of anybody you can think of. Most of the speakers that were at Hive Life last year are going to be at EAS this year. I mean, it's just a huge amount of all the speakers that you know are going to be at EAS this year speaking about cool stuff. It's also neat because whether you're a beginner intermediate or a commercial beekeeper, there's a track for you to follow in learning more about your specific skill set and level that you're at. It's kind of formulated that way. So it's not like you're a brand new beekeeper and all you hear is a bunch of sideliners and commercial guys talking about things that are way over your head, you know. Or it's not like you're a commercial beekeeper and you're stuck in a beginner's course. So, you know, it's a track you choose, and that's what's so cool about it. A lot of hands-on activities in the hive under microscopes. You can choose. A lot of activities in the evening too. Special barbecues and special luau's, special activities. There's even a something called like a bee Olympics, where you see how far you can carry a bee hive, or, you know, there's all these things. One year it was see how far you could spit a live drone out of your mouth. I remember that one. So, you know, just some goofy things, fun things for people all around the world to gather and have fun with other beekeepers. So if it sounds like I'm really fond of EAS, I really am. EAS is rock solid. It is a solid organization. It's made up of great people, well-known beekeeping experts, well-known hardworking commercial beekeepers, beginners, well-rounded outfit. I really like that about it. So I'll never fail to say something about EAS almost in every one of my videos for the next few weeks, because it's going to be centered on EAS. I'll be taking my camera equipment out there, and we're going to be having a lot of videos. I know I'm going to do a live stream on Thursday night, but I may maybe I can do live streams more often. Like if I know something's coming up, maybe I can get the old live stream fired up. I'll let you guys know. And you could even be a part of maybe some activities or some conference events live stream. So keep watching, stay tuned to my channel, and be following me all next week, starting on tomorrow, Sunday or Monday, first week of August 2023. Now, I realize some of you are watching this video 5 years after it happened. You missed out. That's why you want to click on the bell, that you'll be notified each time I make a new video, because sometimes I make a video, it's brand new, and I say things that are time sensitive. So think about that. The success of overwintering your bees all depends on you raising bees of winter physiology, dearth physiology. These bees of winter physiology live 4 to 8 months. That's a long time for bees to live. In the summer right now, they're living 45 days. So I teach you in a new video how to raise bees of winter physiology, guys. It's a great video. In fact, I want to refer you to the video about how to detect when a dearth is happening in your area. That will trigger your bees to start raising bees of winter physiology. So it's up to you to know when and how to determine a dearth in your area. Just made a video right here about it. See you over there.